to operate a restaurant or a business in 2025 is so brutal that we're seeing layoffs coming and store closures like you just wouldn't believe. And in this video, we're going to talk about Kroger, we're talking about Bahama Breeze, and we're talking about Doug DeMuro because he just also said that, hey, we're going to let go of people. And this is no shame to Doug, this is no shame to Kroger or Bahama Breeze. It is just the US consumer is just tapped out. And I've been making videos saying that, hey, it is hard for Americans to find jobs, and that is a direct cause of the American consumer not going out and shopping frugally as they were during COVID. And people told me, oh, you should stop mentioning COVID, but it is just so prevalent. I see it across the board where Americans have been buying cars over asking price. They've been going after toys like crazy. They've been going after ATVs. And all of a sudden now you can pick them up at a super discount. And Rolex watches, you can now pick them up at a discount. And I feel like Americans were so eager to spend their money that was handed out during COVID. And all of a sudden, the funny money has dried up. And now we're seeing that we're back to reality. And you gotta go back to the basics. In Kroger's situation, you see 60 stores are closing. And Kroger is like, oh my goodness, we have to close these stores. And now you would think in a common business sense that, hey, shareholders are gonna be mad, shareholders are gonna say, this is not good for the company, this is not where we wanna go because we wanna grab more market share and everything else. But no, shareholders loved it, the stock jumped. So that means that shareholders would rather see employees getting fired, close stores, and increase profitability than expand. So now we're at a spot where loans to come by, expansion isn't what is always going to be required for these companies because, hey, let's stick to profitability rather than expanding the Silicon Valley way of expanding, grabbing market share at every cost. So now we're seeing that, hey, we got to come up with new ways of thinking. And one of these ways how Kroger is revolutionizing itself is AI dynamic pricing. And as I've been saying in all my videos, you gotta have that component of AI in your business, in your industry. And Kroger is doing that with saying that, this is an example, obviously, that if you are looking for eggs and there's a holiday coming up and everybody wants to buy eggs, it is gonna be more expensive for you to buy eggs and bacon. So let's say 4th of July. For 4th of July, hamburgers and hot dogs are going to be more expensive a day or two beforehand because people are going to barbecue and want to do stuff like that. So Kroger is going to artificially increase the prices so that people will have to spend more to increase their profitability. So this was the bad part on the consumer. On the good part, though, is that I can see items that are about to go expired. There's items that are not that desirable and they're about to go expired. Rather than just kicking them in the can and going to a landfill, they're starting drastically to increase the price to make sure that this item will be sold even at a loss rather than just going to the landfill and writing it off. And these are just some of the things that AI is going to come more and more. And these are companies right here that are offering inventory, AI management, and all kinds of stuff. So now, don't be shocked if you're gonna go to a grocery store and you're gonna pay $2.99 for 12 eggs, and then you go the next day, or your son or kid or whatever goes half an hour later and it is way less expensive or more expensive, and can go either way. And now let's transition into the Doug DeMuro one. Doug DeMuro, let's listen to him talk about it real quick.
We did do some layoffs at Cars and Bits, which is sad. It's hard. Layoffs are the worst thing in the world. We lose people that we love, the people we've worked with for a long time. It's like a really difficult thing to do. And it happens when strategy doesn't necessarily align with reality and those situations.
So as you see, even Doug DeMuro had to do layoffs. And it is just one more thing that is putting the nail into the coffin for consumers. Can't go out and buy cars. And his auction website, Cars and Bids, is just not that profitable as it used to be. As I said in this video, that it's not just Doug DeMuro. My company was also affected. I had to do layoffs. So as you're seeing, it is just across the board, people are doing layoffs. And now let's transition into Bahama Breeze. And Bahama Breeze used to be this great place in the early 2000s where you can get Caribbean cocktails and it was pretty decent food. In the early 2000s, where my family had a house in Cape Coral, my dad and my mom used to go to Bahama Breeze to date night. And they loved it. They went, I think, every week. They had date night. They went to Bahama Breeze and they just loved the cocktails. They dressed up and it was an experience. So me and Allie and my mom and my aunt went to Bahama Breeze a year or so ago when I was last in Cape Coral. And it was just subpar food. It was crowded. It felt like a factory where you just kind of go in, they'll throw you the food, and it was like plastic foods. It was like plastic plates that they served you on. It wasn't even like an experience anymore. It wasn't good food. The service was subpar, and it felt like the restaurant was kind of ran down, and it was just not a good experience. So we're seeing now that the parent company of Bahama Breeze is saying that we're going to start closing down. So if you have not so far liked and subscribed, please do. 80% of you guys that watch my videos on a regular are not subscribed. So please hit that like and subscribe and the bell notification so we can have conversations when I upload these videos. So back to Bahama Breeze. And we're seeing now articles that are saying they're not going to receive any investments. So that is huge bad news already, because that means that the food quality isn't on the upwards trend, it's on the downwards trend. And they're looking for a buyer. And now we're in a spot where they're looking at, hey, they need to get a new investor, they're gonna sell it off, and somebody needs to rebrand Bahama Breeze. And the funny part is, when I was there last year, I felt like it was like a Hawaiian themed Bahamas restaurant with subpar quality and subpar food of service. And I looked at the one in Las Vegas because most restaurants do have a presence in Las Vegas because tourist destination. And my Bahama Breeze, I didn't even know that there was one in Vegas, closed down a while ago. And now I'm just thinking, what brought the closure? And it's a mix of all of these components combined. If you don't have good quality service, if you're not having good quality products, people are not willing to spend the money and wait in line to go do an experience. And why did I not say price? Because I've been to restaurants in Las Vegas that the price is absorbent, it's through the roof, but people are waiting in line to do it because they got good quality, they got an experience, and it is just what you want to be doing. And then there's chefs from TV shows that come and open up restaurants. And so it is so competitive now that you need to be offering really good service and a really good product. And even if the price is a little higher, you will still have customers because people will say, hey, let's go on date night. Let's make it an excursion. Let's make it an event. Let's have a great experience. But now, if you're in a situation where we're not going to receive any more investments, that means that you're basically saying, we're done and we're just gonna run it as it is. Hopefully we're not gonna incur too many losses. Hopefully we'll find a buyer for it soon. And hopefully they'll have some ideas of how to implement a better strategy. And since it was a year ago, I would improve on a few things. This is what I would improve on. I would improve on the quality of service. I would say, hey, if you're gonna come, it's gonna be an experience. It's going to be something that you're going to talk to your friends about, and how good the cocktails and how good the drinks and the food menu actually is. And the second of all is I would see if I can source better quality products. And that means that not everything's fried, and if it is fried, it's going to be good quality food that people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely phenomenal. Because I do believe that they can turn it around under the right investments, under the right leadership, that you can turn a chain like that around. But you gotta be putting in the time. You gotta see how you can cut out waste. And in the government, it's really hard because it's lobbying and it's all kinds of craziness. But in a restaurant, you can see, hey, what is using the most amount of time? And where can I cut out the most amount of weight? Is it with automating tasks? Is it with having these robots to bring the food? Is it with buzz people? Is it with all kinds of different scenarios where they can say, hey, is it running promotions where they just come in more or get the cost per customer up so they can spend more? Is it of getting it to where, hey, come in for a promotion, take another $6 and we'll pack it up for you to go. We'll make a meal for you. And you can take it to go like Olive Garden does. So it is just these small things that can have a huge impact on the underlying business. But when you come out and say, we're done, it's not going to be an investment, we're not going to invest anymore, then you're done. And this is just another thing. This is just another way for consumers to vote. If you don't like it, you stop going. And that means that it's going to be harder to get these consumers back. Because if you have a bad experience, you're most likely not going to go back to that place. And in the restaurant industry, it's even harder because it is then going to be really, really hard if you had a bad experience or the food wasn't that great to go back there. And let me know in the comments if you had a bad experience and you gave it another shot and it was kind of good. Because if you're going and spending money at places, could be at grocery stores, could be at restaurants, and the experience just isn't great, how likely are you to go back? So it is just crazy how the world has changed from just a few years ago. And I think we're going to see a lot more closures, a lot more shutdowns, a lot more layoffs, because now we're seeing that all these people that are working at Kroger, that worked at these Bahama Breezes, are going to be let go. That's going to make it tighter for people to find new jobs. And these people that are going to find new jobs are going to compete with these people that have already been looking. So as you see, we're adding layers of complexity to this whole job search, of this employment opportunities. And when you're adding new ways of complexity to the job market, that means that your boss is most likely gonna know that, hey, there's more complexity, there is more talent out there, and so then they're not gonna give you the time of day to train or do a whole bunch of extra like hand holding. They're just gonna say you're out and we can find somebody new. So it is just the name of the game right now of just cutting where you can to stay afloat for the next few years, where interest rates are better, cheaper money to lend. And yeah, it is just going to be absolutely crazy to see what's going to happen next. And I think that there's going to be a lot more restaurants like this, big chains that are going to follow. Once Bahama Breeze is going to be done, there's going to be other ones like Applebee's, Longhorn, and all these other ones that are going to have to make similar cuts. It's just a trend. When one company starts it like Twitter did, and then it just racks across the whole industry, it is just going to keep on coming. Yeah, so when it ripples through these industries, it's just going to be affecting everybody. And now you're like, well, I'm a truck driver, so it's not going to really affect me. Oh yeah, because you're going to have less stops. That means that if you're a food delivery driver, that means that, hey, there's a restaurant less to pick from. So DoorDashing, or if you do deliver food for Cisco or wherever you get your stuff from, it's also going to cut down on the route. So then they say, oh, the route's less, and that means that we need less drivers, so we're going to lay off some truck drivers. Oh, there's less warehouse demand, so we can let off warehouse workers. Oh, the meat's just stocking up at the warehouse. It means that we don't need to produce that much, so we're going to let the meat pile up a little bit, and then we're going to have to let the butchers and those people go. So as you see, it is a huge ripple effect across all industries. So let me know how you're preparing for it. But man, I'm just like, you gotta be aware and you gotta spend your money wisely. You gotta look at your bottom line and make sure that, hey, what I'm spending, I'm making sure that I'm spending it in a correct way. And with dynamic food pricing and everything else, it is coming. They've tried, they got a bunch of backlash, and they're gonna try again till it sticks, until somebody's making huge profits, and it's gonna be here to stay. And yeah, I just got that for you, that even if you boycott them, there's enough people that will still keep buying, because I always say that even if you go out and you protest, even if you go make a bunch of noise on a Saturday afternoon with the video from yesterday, unless you get them where it hurts on their wallets and you stop donating, you stop spending your time there, it is not going to bring change. Unless you pull back with your wallet, then they're going to be worried. Then it's going to bring change. Just bringing awareness to something is only as good as long as you bring awareness. And if you're going to start pulling back and saying, you know what, I'm not okay with dynamic pricing, and I haven't gone back to Wendy's or wherever it is, they're not going to do nothing. Because they say, oh, we still got enough customer, even though there's awareness, there's a little press, it doesn't matter. Because in the social media realm, in the realm of just advertisement, they say nothing is bad press. No press is bad press. So even if they're in the news with negative stuff, it's not that bad. At least you're in the news. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm just like, we are sure in for a bumpy ride of 2025. And let me know how you're preparing. Are you still eating at Bahama Breeze? Are you still eating out? Are you still doing groceries at Kroger? Or if they're gonna do dynamic pricing, are you gonna boycott? Let me know. And yeah, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.